22, you get the picture. Anyway, jump on this train.
Fuck nuts.
Oh shit.
Conductor, I don't have a ticket.
Not sure that's your biggest concern.
I mean, shoot, that's why I'm trying to be like what's the old girl name? This Vixen what's her name? Rainer, something.
Superhead?
Huh?
Superhead?
No, not her, but along those lines, same
Okay.
thing though. But yeah. I'm trying to be that to the WNBA.
Oh.
I'm trying to be like them. Those Superhead is my role model. Like she is an inspiration.
I don't think a lot of those WNBA players like what you have to offer.
no, right?
I mean, it might be a sprinkle. You feel me? Like my man E40 say, "Sprinkle me, baby." It might be a sprinkle of females up there that might like what you have to offer, but it ain't that many.
We're probably not going to be on next week. I'm on call next week, so that stuff. Oh man, that interrupts your sleep because these people. I've had a person call out one time, wake me up at 3:00 in the morning. I can't come into work today. My daughter's high school graduation is today, and I can't be late. And I'm sitting there thinking, so I got to get woken up in the middle of the night for a day that you've known was coming since the kid was born. So you see what I'm dealing with. So yeah, go me.
It's time for the D train.
And Mama said she was so proud when they made me a manager. She said she's so proud.
With Darren DeVoue.
There's someone else doing a job on this train.
But we know that.
Come on now. There's room for many more.
Yes, indeed. Hello! How you doing? It's been a while. Yes, you're on the board, the D Train with Darren DeVoue on CMPRadio.net. It's the station. It's been a while, and I haven't seen you guys since, right when the Clippers season ended. So, in the meantime, I went and got a haircut. Yeah, lined up. Mama's so proud. Yes, indeed. We today on today's show. So speaking of which, since I haven't talked to you guys since the last Clippers game, which unfortunately ended with that 20-28 loss to Strathaven, we're gonna wrap up the Clippers season. Also, I got to talk about a little distractions that I've been watching, comparing rappers then and rappers now. That's been on the TV, and the Eagles. Oofa. That and more, and I got a few nominees for P's Weekly Hero. Haven't seen P this week. Haven't talked to P. I tried to call P earlier, but I wasn't able to reach him. In the meantime, though, we mentioned before in the intro about work, and I've been working a lot. So I'm managing now, and so I've been pulling a whole lot of hours. But in the meantime, though, the kids have blessed me because look, I'm wearing redesigned clothes. The kids do fashion. So what I'm wearing right here is a Savon Couture. Now what it is it's nice, and once the kids help you out with it, it gets ventilated. You got the ventilation here on the front. You got the side wide in case you need to reach in and scratch your arm or anything like that. Then also you got this shirt gets redesigned here. You got an open pocket so you can reach even easier into your pocket. Speaking of redesigned clothes that the kids have done for me, when I interviewed now current mayor of Chester, Stephon Roots, I interviewed him. Well, I was at work and we made arrangements. So I ran from work to here, interviewed Mayor Roots, then ran back to work. What I forgot was I was wearing a work shirt. And so, yeah, it was a redesigned work shirt. And then I didn't notice it until I took it off that night. I was like, oh, man, the mayor probably thinks, oh, who's this bummy cat walking in with these ripped up clothes trying to interview me? So I had to set that record straight right there. I'll send him a clip of that email. Founders Day, January 5th, I spent 14 hours at work, I think. So there you go. I was achieving, as brothers of KA side do. So, in the meantime, I've been talking before about getting former Temple quarterback Philip Lang on the show. Come on. Yep, former Temple quarterback Philip Lang on the show. I've been trying to get him on, but he's ghosted me not once, not twice, but 3 times. So, but then I had to step outside myself, stop being so all about me. And then I remember this is Phil's final play as a quarterback for Temple when he started in 1993 against Miami in the Orange Bowl. Incidentally, that Miami team had Warren Sapp and Ray Lewis on the field. Here's Phil's final play.
Starting spot for the Owls. Lang's throw caught by Ramondo Davidson at about the 28-yard line.
You didn't notice that? Yeah, he got
a big hit at the end of
that smash.
He sure did. Had a blitzing linebacker come in free and just absolutely lit him up. It was Marlon Barnes, number 56. Phil Lang trying to shake out the cobwebs. Ron Dickerson sees his quarterback come off the field. I don't think he knows what continent he's on. He really got creamed.
So then I realized I shouldn't take it so personal. I said, Phil's still trying to find his way out of Veterans Stadium. Look at that parking lot by Citizens Bank Park, and you dig about 8 feet deep, dude. You probably find Phil just still walking around trying to find his way back to the team bus. So, yeah, I'm clowning him. Ghost me 3 times. I'll clown you every day. All right, but anyway, so, can I go solo? All right. So that was that. Oh, incidentally, when Lang got knocked out in that game, the guy that came in for Lang was Henry Burris, who went on to become Temple's all-time leading passer. So there you go. But anyway, moving on, let's move on to something here with, something nice and special right there, boy. I'll tell you, 12-2 was what the Clippers, what your 2023 Chester Clippers wound up with. 3 playoff wins, and they scrimmaged they started the season off with a scrimmage against the eventual state 5A champ, Imhotep Charter. And, of course, the 28-20 loss to Strathaven in the quarterfinals of the state playoffs. Man, the Clippers would have still had to play. I was sitting there looking at the calendar and looking at the schedule. I was like, damn, they're still going to have to play a few more games just to get to state finals. Like, it's a slog. Football can get pretty long when you advance that far into the postseason. Speaking of that 28-20 loss against Strathaven, though, one thing I've noticed when those power gap or those power and trap teams, what the Clippers might need to do in the future, because you notice if you were at that game, the Strathaven team, it was almost like a scheduled play. This one counter trap play through the center that they would run somewhere between play 4 and play 7. Every 4th or 7th play, they'd run that play. It steadied their offense. And they would go to it when they needed it against the Clippers. Problem with the Clippers, from now on, when they face those kind of teams, those power trap teams, like to some degree Phoenixville, definitely Strathaven, what made those great Eagles teams with Buddy Ryan great against the run was a lot of times the D-line would take that offensive lineman and push his ass back. And then that clogs up the running lanes for the back. He can't find anything to get to. That will be handy for the Clippers if they employ that strategy moving forward. You're welcome again. Now, let's talk the good and the great for the 2023 Clippers. The great was, of course, that defense. Mama. I love watching that defense. Unlike the Eagles, we'll more on that later, I like watching the Chester Clippers defense take the field. 5 shutouts. That's some defense right there. 5 shutouts. I don't have the numbers for turnovers forced, but the Clippers were definitely ahead, winning in the plus department when it came to turnovers. Sophomore, Jarrell Palmer. All-state selection this year. Holler at your boy. Oh, incidentally, speaking of all what have you selections, 3 Clippers on defense made first team all Delco released by the Delco Times. And they were the aforementioned Palmer, Darren Harris, who played free safety. That range that he shows in that defensive backfield is nice. He can get from one sideline to sideline. That back third is his. it's a pleasure watching that boy play ball. And of course, the oak tree, Dominic Toy, my favorite Clipper. Now that the oak tree is graduating, I'm gonna have to start picking a new Clipper. Last year, well, before that it was Noble Thompson, then it was the oak tree. So I think we're gonna go with Jarrell Palmer. Where's number 6? I'm born on the 6th. I think the universe is talking to me there. On offense, all Delco selections were, of course, Deshaun Jackson, who we talked about Strathaven running the play, that counter trap play to steady their offense. Deshaun Jackson, who unfortunately had to miss most of the playoffs because of the Fumble! But yeah. Oh, they contested his transfer, so that threw him off the roster, unfortunately, for the postseason. Jay Harris, quarterback Jalen Harris, made second team All Delco, and running back Larry McDaniel, scoot, that little fella can scoot, but he made honorable mention as well. Now, we talked about the good for a second. Now let's get to the bad, because these are the things that are going to help the Clippers for next season. And one of the bad was, you know what it is, penalties. penalties. I had the Clippers down for 2 games in which they did not reach double figures in penalties. Incidentally, I showed up at the Strathaven game. Man, the line to get in, it was taking forever to get into that game. To get into the game, because there was lines coming from both ways. Usually it's just the one line going up, I forget the name of the street now, Shamokin Street. It's just the one line that's coming from facing west. Against Strathaven, there was 2 lines, one from the east side and the west side of the entrance to Jet Field. So it took a while to get in there, but when I finally got in, the manager, I usually sit right near where you have 2 Clippers assistants, and the team manager is somewhere right behind me usually. And we've been discussing the penalties through the season, me and the manager and I. I get into my seat finally. The manager looks at me with this face. I forget the young man's name. I'm so upset right now. I should have wrote it down. The young man looked at me with this face that I was like, oh no. And then he goes, yo. Right, and at the time, it was 28-20. It was definitely a tight game. But he said to me, they've got 11, and it was halftime. He said, they've got 11 penalties so far. I dropped my head, and that's when I knew in my heart of hearts, I said, they're going to lose this damn game. So penalties, particularly the holding and a lot of the unsportsmanlike. Coach Peach, that's assistant for the Clippers. I work for the same company as him. I have a chance to bump into him from time to time. I think I'm going to start surprising Coach Peach and start drilling into his head. drill, baby, drill about the footwork for the O-line. I will be showing up uninvited, but I will be showing up at Clippers games, at Clippers practices the holding's got to stop. That's the kind of thing it kills you. Holds you back. And like I said, 11 in that first half against good teams, solid teams like a Strathaven who just keep doing the same thing year after year. Yeah, that you can't have those penalties. And the Clippers, with their multiple offense, like they run many things, they can stay in any game. And that defense, ooh, baby. Yeah, who is the defense? I need to find this out because I'm getting him on here. We got to talk about that defense and how they run it. But one thing that I'm looking for next season is not only the elimination of the penalties, but with respect to Mr. J. Harris, not D. Harris, one thing I want to see him, 2 things that I'd like to see him do. 1, start using his eyes, because defenders, especially in that back, the linebackers and the secondary, safeties and linebackers, they usually are going to move a little bit. It's second nature. You just move to where the quarterback's looking. So I think if Jackson uses his eyes, like looks away, because there were plenty of times where he'd stare down his first read, especially if it's his brother. He'd stare down his first read. So he's got to use his eyes to move defenders, which will help open up passing lanes for him and make his life a heck of a lot easier. Another thing I'd like to see from sophomore quarterback Jay Harris in his junior season and evolution is, think of it this way. All right, basketball nowadays, they say the game's evolved. No, it hasn't. It's the same game as before. But nowadays, you got young boys that just shoot these long jumpers now. They got no mid-range game. All right, so same thing with, I'm not saying Harris doesn't have, but on his deep throws, there were some beautiful, the touch, the accuracy on some of his deep throws. Yes. However, on some of the mid-range throws, they would be off target, which could hurt the squad. So, what I'd like to see Harris do is develop his touch on his mid-range passes, use his eyes to move defenders, and that's going to make his life a heck of a lot easier. Speaking of making Harris's life easier, we got to talk about the drops. Number 5, Nyree Melvin. Number 18, Amaj Barrett. Those two young men, between the two of them, I counted at least 4 drop touchdown passes. And there were other drops in there where there were plenty of times where the young men would have the ball almost at them. They turn in their head to run. Ball hits the ground. All right. So for Nyree Melvin and Amaj Barrett, this year, or in this offseason, I want you to think about this. We got to get them thinking about this. That's a single blade of grass. Anybody picking up what I'm putting down? Anybody getting it? Nope. You will. Don't worry about that. Oh, shoot. Let's get this live chat on. Oh, wait. We're not talking about these Eagles yet. Hold on. Let's try. I forgot all about that. Just in case my mom's watching. And she will be the only one. Oh, shoot. So, yeah, the birds. Before we get into the birds, let me say, all right, it's going to sound crazy, but there is a thing that I think it's probably my body knows, because I used to be that guy. Face paint, all that stuff, leading it. Oh, yeah. That was me. I was that crazy boy. So, I've been noticing lately, like a few years ago, I can't remember what year it was, the Eagles were taking on the Browns. Vic was starting that season opener. All right, so Vic was starting, and I started feeling sleepy, and then the Eagles playing like crap, but then I managed to wake up, and then don't you know the Eagles won the game. But it has, over the past few years, it has happened where the Eagles are getting ready to play, I start getting sleepy, they're going to lose. Happened every time this year, every time. To where this young man, this 20-year-old that lives with me, he said to me, he was like, yo, after the Giants game, because I started falling asleep. Okay, the Seattle game, started falling asleep at 7:45. I was like, oh, man, what? Started getting sleepy. I looked around, I said, they're going to lose this damn game. Sure enough, woke up the next morning, they had lost that game. Arizona game, same thing. First quarter, fell asleep. Woke up, Eagles had lost. The Jets game, woke up and went to sleep. Was starting to fall asleep during the Eagles' first drive. A drive that had, at one point, 17 pass plays called. It was a very long drive. It was 14. Jalen Hurts had 14 completions. 14 of 17. And I looked at it, and I was like, 17 pass plays on the first drive? You deserve what you get. Wake up, Eagles lost. Sure enough, so last Sunday against the Giants, sure enough, kickoff. I'm like, oh, no. There's no way they're going to. There's no way. I wake up at one point. I look on that TV screen. It says 24-0. I said, Back to sleep I went, man. This is crazy. This is sickening. What's bothering me about the Birds, too, is, that defense has been hurt. I mean, we knew you let some people go. You're depending on a lot of rookies. And these rookies, Carter and so forth, they're going to hit a rookie wall. It never fails. Rookies always hit a rookie wall once they go to the professional version of whatever sport they're in, because it's more intense. There's more travel. There's more games. So Carter And well, I'm not counting Jordan Davis in there, but he's playing a lot of snaps. That was for him. But the defense, they already gave up pass rushers. They were depending on these young guys. And you don't have a lot of speed on that back end with respect to the secondary. So the rush doesn't have as much time to get there because they don't have as much rush. Secondary's not as fast, so they have to cover longer. And what you have is this hideous thing that is the Eagles defense. And then you're like, well, wait, what happened? What happened? We got rid of Jonathan Gannon, right? That should be addition by subtraction, if you will. No. Like Sean Desai, whoever, yeah. As long as Jonathan Gannon's gone. But then defense starts looking like it does. And then you find out that they're going to essentially bench Desai and put in Matt Patricia, formerly of the cheating ass Patriots, Matt Patricia, with that stupid ass pencil in his stupid ass ear. Y'all not only gave this guy a key card, y'all let him call your defense. When I heard that he was moved, I don't know about you folks, but when I heard that he was moved, that he was going to be calling the plays for the defense, that was the first time I realized that he was on the staff. And then come to find out that Howie made this happen. But yeah, that Eagles defense is horrific. And Matt Patricia. So we just talked about Temple, pass rushers. Temple's finest, Hassan Reddick. If I'm not mistaken, this man was dropped back into coverage. I heard this man was dropped back into coverage 7 times in the last game. 7 times with your best pass rusher, one of the best in the league. He's one of the only guys who have had double-digit sacks over the past 4 years. Him. Let's drop him back into coverage. That ain't what you do. That's not what he for. Come on, bro. So, yeah, Matt Patricia's dumbass. We got him on. That's when I just, we're screwed now. That's it, man. Game over. If you ever saw Aliens, I got to get that sound drop. But one last thing about let me go back to the Clippers let's go back to the Clippers one more game. Because this is the 3rd season I watched this, and meeting parents and meeting coaches over this time, and from what I'm watching and on the field, not only on the field, but as the games wrap up, and I'm telling you, my eyes see it. Something big coming.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
I can, Chester. It's coming for you. Something big. I don't know what, but yeah. Anyway, back to these bum-ass Eagles. Or they looking like bums. Something's off with this quarterback. Something's off. I think he's hurt. You know, you seen guys, there's seasons where you see a guy and something's looking inexplicable. Like, what's wrong with him? Is he off? What's wrong? He's hurt. And, you know, Eagles are going to be tight, keeping it close to the vest with respect to the injury information, as you should in football, because you reveal an injury, that's a target for the defense. But something's off, and it's showing out on the field. Do I feel like putting the Eagles, or what's the line here? What's the line? Let's look the line up. Last I saw it was 3.5. 3.5. All right, let's go playoff betting lines. Betting odds. Why not? Betting odds. Let's see. And the birds are Dallas is -7. I'm taking that. I think Dallas is going to kill. Let's scroll down. Oh, man, they only giving me the odds. Okay, hold on. Eagles betting odds. Eagles betting odds. Let's see what we got here. All right. DraftKings. Oh, just gave some free advertising. They don't need my... like my mom's going to go bet on DraftKings. All right, so the Eagles are Eagles are 3-point favorites? That's it? I might actually bet money instead of a couple dollars like usual. Two-leg parlay? But then I'd have to wait. Who's playing today? Dallas plays today? I think Dallas is, unfortunately, yeah, I'm going to take Dallas. I'm going to throw that out on that Birds. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Before we leave with the Birds, real quick, Cam Newton. Cam Newton was a few weeks ago, Cam Newton, we talked about quarterbacks, so I felt it was only fair to bring up Cam. Because Cam was talking about, on his podcast, he was talking about difference makers and game managers. Well, first off, what caught my attention, what is this brother wearing? He looks like the Grand Poobah of some urban lodge and shit. He's got the whole scarf with the button up with the... It's a whole lot going on. We talked before about Cam's fashion taste, with the must-win pants that he had on in that game against, or when he was heading for that Super Bowl that Carolina eventually lost to Denver. But I guess when you got it, like when you got the scarone, you got the scratch, you can just dress however you want. I gotta keep it simple and plain because that's all I can afford to do. All right, maybe I'm as oh shoot, I forgot to put this on what I've been watching. I'll save that for P next week. But yeah, Cam Newton was talking about difference makers and game managers. And Cam would know, shoot, he went to the national championship at Auburn. He went to the Super Bowl with Carolina, and both of those teams, he was pretty much like, put both teams on his massive shoulders and just marched off to the championship round. Like he carried both of those teams. Speaking of, with that said, let's move on to things. We're talking about things that are hurting my eyes. This thing here, this is hurting my soul. I was at Giant trying to get some beer. And as I'm scanning, I'm looking and I can't help but notice Rita, I'm like, is that Rita's water ice? They've got all these flavored beers now. This flavored stuff has officially jumped the shark. All right, there's a no fruiting the beer man law. Yeah, and then they made fruit beer. They went all the way with it. So my morbid curiosity, though, I don't have. How much is that? Let me see. It's $11.99. I ain't spending. There we go. I just thought about it. That's a prank gift. I'll get that from. I'm gonna prank my one brother with that. There you go. Happy birthday, bruh. Try not to vomit on me when you drink this. When you drink this shit. Ugh. Wait. Let's look back at that again. Hold on. What flavors they got? I can't tell. Can I zoom? What if they have a lemon flavored beer? That's just It's just blasphemy. It's just no. It's sacrilegious. It's That is high quality H2O. So real quick, we're gonna wrap up with I was keeping it short. I didn't have P to mess with, but I'm gonna talk for a minute. I've been watching some stuff on. I forgot to put Coach Prime in the rundown. So Coach Prime is on Amazon Prime. And I forgot to put that in the rundown because people and I were having a discussion about that. And it's funny how Deion Sanders has become black. I don't know. We'll skip on to it. We'll put a pin in that and we'll circle back around to that next week. But what did I catch on Amazon Prime recently? It was this fella. Lil Durk. All right. And Lil Durk, he did a concert and he showed it on Amazon Prime. We talked about concerts that they show on HBO. So Lil Durk was on Amazon and he was doing his concert and I was watching the concert. And here's a brief clip of it. Audio might not be the best. I hope. Let's see.
That gas savage, yo. Hammer time calling up. Jason Nash straight, ain't down the drive. Big bitches down the ride. That's why they mad at me. 10 to meet the president now. Gotta do the whole squad to be the shit now. I got a deal, thinking I'm the shit now. I never change, never wipe a bit now.
What the fuck is you saying? What? That was just a stream of, they say consciousness. That was a stream of mental vomit, a mental diarrhea. Like, I'm sorry, but, and not to mention, hold up. You saw how he was dressed. Okay. The brother never sweated. That shows me how much energy he was putting into the concert. One, all right? I never saw him sweating. I've been to concerts, Talib Kweli, dripping. It's all on. He left it all on the field. It's just coming all a gallon of sweat on the floor like he Moses Malone in the fourth quarter. All right, but this guy never broke a sweat, and he had this all leather outfit on. I'll tell you why he didn't break a sweat, because he wasn't saying shit. He was just rapping along with his album pretty much. I'm sitting there watching it. I'm like, dude, why would I buy a ticket to that when, if I'm a fan of his, I would just play his album and do that myself. Stand in the mirror, be my own little dirt. I ain't got to pay for tickets, pay for parking and all that just to see him rap along with that auto tune. And then he would say, whoa, whoa. I'm sorry, kids. I know I sound like a crotchety old man, but our rappers were better than yours. All right, our rappers was better than yours, and I ain't really. It's the truth, okay? And I'll prove it by moving on, because Amazon then turned around, because then I needed to rinse my ears out, all that. I watched about an hour of that. I was like, oofa, and like you saw it in the subtitles, brother. Smoking dope, that gas. Gonna get a honey with some ass. Like, and you know what though? As I was sitting there talking about how BS what my man was saying, I could almost feel him next to me like, yeah, Darren, I hear you. It's bullshit, all right? But as you can see from this sold out concert, this bullshit is selling, all right? It's selling. So if they make me do better, I'll do better. If people want, so I think it's on us as a society, or you kids, you need to start demanding better from your rappers, because they suck. All right? Amazon thankfully redeemed itself though, because the next concert that I wound up watching on Amazon was, was this Nas live from the Kennedy Center to recreate or to commemorate the 20th anniversary of Illmatic. Which is a funny side note story. When I worked at Outback, somebody stole my Discman. I wasn't pissed about the Discman. I thought, I even pushed one of the Mexicans in the corner. I was being all bully. I was pissed because my Illmatic CD was in there. Who's got my Illmatic? I was running around like a madman. Not one of my finer hours. Not one of my finer hours. But back to Nas live at the Kennedy Center. This was like that scene from Half-Baked. So remember Jon Stewart is in his scene. He's like, hey man, have you ever tried closing a door on weed? This was like, hey man, have you ever tried Illmatic with an orchestra? Which is precisely what they did. And awesome might have been an understatement. Yeah. You just hear that and I was like, yeah. Yes, sir. It was 4 out of 4 train tickets for that. That was awesomeness. Like, I was so glad that they did it. Incident, a little funny story about that. When they would go to and from, so you'd see scenes of the concert. They didn't show the concert straight through, but they would dip in and out. The one lady who had to be the production manager for the whole thing, she got her, assignment. This Nas, okay. So she telling the story. She says, so I called my son who's in the rap, white lady, by the way. She said, I called my son who's in the rap, and I said, hey, I have to do a project with this guy Nas. Have you ever heard of him? His album, Illmatic? He goes, Mom, which version do you need? The one you got. She said her son sent her his Illmatic, and she bumps that like at least three times a week now. Yeah, Illmatic was that. Or this Nas live at the Kennedy Center, definitely. It's worth. If you haven't got Amazon Prime, do the free trial for a minute just so you can watch this. Faux show. I stand by that recommendation. Speaking of 90s rappers who have been reappearing recently, my man, Scarface. If you ever done a Tiny Desk series, I think I shared some videos. I shared videos before in the live chat about the Tiny Desk series. Like I shared the Wu-Tang ones and the GZA. GZA is one of my favorite concerts, but Scarface did a Tiny Desk concert. And it's funny because I'm sitting there like, I'm thinking he did a bunch of his tracks, did like a half-hour track. Scarface can play the guitar, musical brother. So he's sitting there, and I'm like, man, Scarface. I was thinking of all my other Scarface tracks in my head, and I was like, damn, Scarface is underrated. Huh. I remember, actually, a funny story. I got a bunch of funny, I always got a funny story. So one time I'm at 30th Street Station. I can't remember why I was there. I see a guy with this long jacket on, and I recognized the logo on the back of it. It was from the Face to Face album, Scarface's Face. I was like, oh, man. And then he had that long coat on. I saw him and a couple of other guys. They were moving, looked like equipment. I was like, interesting. All right. I go into McDonald's back when I used to think that was food. And I walk into McDonald's, and I'm standing in line. And I'm looking at this guy right in front of me in the line. Nah. He gets to the line, he's ordering. I'm like, I'm hearing his voice. I'm like, oh, no. Of course, if as I'm sitting right now, I'd have been eye to eye with Scarface. The brother is shorter than the average. I was like, oh man, my eyes were playing tricks on me. Maybe Scarface is short, but here's a quick sample of Scarface's Tiny Desk concert. I definitely recommend that. Look up the series on YouTube, folks. But here we go. Nice little live backing band there. This is Big Brother.
When it sounds like this, y'all, it's just so much of a pocket for me, man. Like it's really difficult for me to rap to some shit that's not in that pocket, man. And music has a pocket, and it hits people, it hits everybody, and it makes them fucking emotional when they hear it because it's so fucking great, you know. When I hear it, I get emotional because it touched my soul, man. I can't hear the snare, I need to hear that. There you go. Let me get back in. Let me get back emotional again.
Definitely, dude. Do yourself a favor and go to YouTube sometime this after you finish watching games, or while you driving, put that phone down. Obviously, don't look at the video. We got stories next week about people on their phones when they're driving. Also, we got stories about some pretty bad decisions when it comes to caregiving for kids. Good gracious. Anyway, back to Scarface. I'm sorry. So Scarface, yeah, they had a nice little backing band right there in that. Oh, shoot, no. They had a nice little backing band in the studio with them there. And this one brother, I recognize the one big brother because I've seen him. I recognize him from Jill Scott concerts I went to before. Like, that big brother plays the bass. He plays for everybody, I guess. But yeah, Scarface, Tiny Desk concert, hell yeah. Do yourself that favor and go check it out. And with that brings us on to, so I wasn't able to get a hold of P. Hold on, let's try him now. Let's see. Should I do it? Should we do it? Do it. Now, we'll We ain't gonna bother the man. It went straight to voicemail when I called him before we went to air. So we'll let sleeping dogs lie. Not that I'm calling you a dog. Don't you start. My man. All right. So with that though, I am gonna run down his nominees for a couple of nominees for next week. So he's got homework. Yeah. So let's go to first. Let's talk about this lady here. Now, this is a mother in Bihar, India. She saved 2 of her kids. The kids fell down. Now, it was video. Oh, I might have to run this next week. Actually, when P has to make his decision next week, I'm going to run this video. Because in the video, the mother is on top of her 2 kids as the speeding train leaves the station and is running over top of them. She kept her kids. They were pushed off. Now, saying that it was also reported that the woman and her children were pushed off the platform and onto the tracks after a large group of passengers rushed aboard the train. You ever see those Indian trains? They got people sitting on top, the cats hanging off the side like it's a cable car. They will stuff a train, so I can believe it. The woman and her husband were separated from his family, reportedly jumped from the train and ran back to the station after his family was pushed. So he was already on the train. The family was sent to a nearby hospital for a checkup, and their condition was stable. But yeah, that's going to be P's first nominee. A life-saving mama? Who can't love that? All right, and our second nominee is going to be these 2 brothers. This is DeVoue and Tavon. And they're 2 brothers from South Carolina. And actually, I have an audio from KYW telling their story.
Twin brothers from South Carolina are walking 600 miles to Philadelphia to raise awareness for kids in the foster care system. Here's KYW Community Impact reporter Raquel Williams.
Davon and Tavon Woods are walking from Sumter, South Carolina to Philadelphia. They say they'd like to see some changes to America's foster care system and that better screening of prospective caregivers is sorely needed.
And the foster care system is one of those things where unfortunately, you hear a lot of the bad and the horror stories.
There are currently over 400,000 kids in the U.S. foster system. Now at age 28, Davon says they want foster children to know they have the support of others who have been in their shoes.
We just didn't receive the proper love that a kid should need. That's what led us to, speak out on kids in foster care, because I know there's so many kids all over the world that go through so much things.
When the twins totaled the mileage for a 31-day walk, the map put them right in Philadelphia. Raquel Williams, KYW News Radio, 103.9 FM.
Those 2 are born into the foster care system. So I can only imagine what they've seen and been through that made them take this 600-mile walk, So there's that. And so shout outs to them. I'm betting that they're going to be the favorites. Speaking of betting, I got to get home and bet on the Eagles. Excuse me, folks. There's stories that hits me, though. And finally, I don't have art for it, but there was a man who, and I joke with P about how he always messes with me about I don't bet a lot. And I'm only talking about betting $20 on the Eagles today. Usually, I won $1 on Kansas City yesterday. But this fella, my man took and made a 14-leg parlay. Bet $5 on it. That 14-leg parlay hit. That $5 turned into $489,383. Holla at your boy. That's some stuff right there. So those are going to be P's 3 nominees for once we. Oh shoot! I don't have to close load it. Once we go on air next week. But with that, did y'all hear that? That was my belly. He's hungry. But with that brings us to the end of this run. Now, next week, folks, we're going to be in for a long one because I got a lot to cover and a lot of funny stuff for you. But And again, we've bad caregiving. But with that said, I am going to wrap it up. And thank you for spending your time with me. Don't forget, you can catch on-air content for CMP with Sisters on Air podcast coming on later in the day. And, of course, the Cut Up podcast. And with Curtis and the lady with the toe-curling coochie. So... there's that. Also, go to Facebook, go to the CMP Facebook or YouTube page and check out the rest of CMP's content. Straight like that, with a D. Straight like that. Parenting with a purpose, etc. And if you're hungry down here over town, I'm waiting for them to open up. I won't be here long enough when they wait a second. What are the hours? Hold on, because there's a place over here over town. It's one of the station sponsors. And mind you, I was digging on them before they were a sponsor. So it is a little cathedral of deliciousness called DeVoue Taco. And what time do they open today? Oh, wait. Yeah. DeVoue Taco. Give me them hours. I'm trying to get that mushroom bowl. A burrito or that Enola street corn that they do. I'm trying to get one of something. Give me them hours. I don't see the hours here. Who this? What? Calls himself my best friend, but he's calling me while I'm on air. He ain't. I should clown him too. not just former Temple quarterback Phil Lang, but this guy who's about to be my former best friend. If he keep calling me while I'm on air. That's going to be Chris Harris. DeVoue Tacos hours. 11 8. Oh, man. Wait. Sunday close. Fiddlesticks. That's all right, because they open at 11 tomorrow. I'll let you, boy. It's my day off. I'll be there getting me a mushroom bowl, stuffing my face with, it's so tasty with the herbs and the spice. Oh, my goodness. Definitely. DeVoue Taco, Avenue of the States, right over here. Do yourself a favor. You're welcome in advance. And with that, folks, that brings us to the end of this week's run of the D Train. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. I really appreciate it. Love you. All right, have a peaceful, productive, and positive week. And in the words, as KRS once told me, and 300 other people at the same time, but as KRS once told me, be a friend to your future self. We will see you next week, folks. Thanks again.
You will both be board at Kyoto Station, then your business with him will be concluded. Man, I just want to get off this train, go see Zen Garden and some shit, you know?